outfit 32 days. Actors only had one set of their wardrobe. The actors had to wear the same clothing for the entire 32-day shoot, 12 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. For fear of fading or being damaged, they couldn't wash the clothes. So the actors wore the same clothes unwashed for 32 days straight, in 95 to 100-degree Texas heat. According to the crew, Gunnar Hansen stunk of body odor worse than anyone on set by the end of the shoot. Blood spatter. One of the reasons that blood and gore are limited in the film is because Tobe Hooper and Kim Henkel felt that fear and intensity were more important. According to screenwriter Kim Henkel, he and Tobe Hooper reached out to the MPAA to discuss the guidelines to avoid getting slapped with an X rating. Apparently, the investors of the film were terrified that the film would get an X rating, so all these thoughts were front of mind during production. Ultimately, Hooper and Henkel's original vision of inflicting fear and intensity with the gore and blood implied worked to the film's benefit and made a bigger impact. Leatherface mask. The holes and markings on the forehead of Leatherface's masks represent a hammer to the head. Back then, cows were slaughtered in the head with a sledgehammer, so the holes appear on the forehead of Leatherface's masks to show continuity with how actual cattle were slaughtered. How the music is made. Numerous instruments used by Wayne Bell to create the music were children's musical toys. According to Bell, many of the instruments used to create the music of the Texas Chain Saw Massacre were cymbals, xylophones, and shakers. Being that Bell is a drummer, a substantial number of cymbals were used. The audio team also used Bell's K stand-up 5-string bass with a movable bridge which allowed them to change how high off the board the strings are. This brought out the strong sounds of the bass. Additionally, the sound team used a bow, plucking and rubbing various items on it. All-natural masks. Art director Bob Burns performed a significant amount of trial and error to perfect the Leatherface mask. Ultimately, he landed on liquid latex and thin insulation, which aged naturally and yellowed. Skin. The practical effects of Leatherface's skin mask proved a difficult challenge for Bob Burns, the art director for the film. Mary Church, who had multiple responsibilities on the original film, including continuity and stunt coordination, noted that Bob spent weeks trying to come up with just homemade varieties of stuff that sort of looked like dried skin. I remember him being concerned about expression, or not being able to do expression, and that there probably needed to be other expressions maybe on the face. Leatherface speaks. In the original script, the infamous dinner scene was quite different. Leatherface had scripted, though completely unintelligible, lines. As Gunnar Hansen recalls, they were written out. His first line is, "A-A-A-O-U-U-U-Ber," and then, "Abe-Goba Aji-Ima." According to Tobe Hooper, these lines had actual meaning behind them. Hansen's script notes pointed out that the first line meant roughly, "How are you? Welcome home. Supper's almost ready." The next line meant, "I've been a good boy. I got 'em all." Tobe Hooper found novel ways to introduce drama into his picture. According to lead Marilyn Burns, Sally, Hooper would gossip around the set to create animosity between her and Paul Partain, who played Franklin. Toby would come up and tell me that Paul said something about me. Then Toby was going to Paul saying Marilyn said something about you, getting us really upset with each other. So we're doing this scene that didn't require any acting at all. I was ready to kill him.